In December 2023, in Kyiv, Ukraine, an ATM abruptly activates and begins dispensing cash across the pavement. A passerby snatches the bills in disbelief. No sirens blare, no blasts occur, just unexpected funds under the cover of darkness. By dawn, scores of ATMs stretching from New York to Barcelona stand barren. Financial logs reveal a staggering $1 billion vanished, yet every device remains securely fastened. A lone email, 3 simple mouse clicks, and a fortune disappears. How did an ordinary server transform a borrowed laptop into the most audacious banking heist ever? And just how secure is your savings truly? During daylight hours, Maxim Yakubets wipes down surfaces at a humble Ukrainian cafe, scraping by on meager gratuities. After dark, he becomes Aqua, a shadowy programmer delving into the web's underbelly. Gratuities barely cover the bills. So each evening, Yakubets instructs himself in the art of intrusion. His ambitions go beyond pilfering card details or breaching inboxes. He's aiming higher. Back in 2013, financial institutions are viewed as impenetrable strongholds. Infiltrating one typically demands firearms, disguises, and an escape vehicle. Yakubets is poised to demonstrate that's not the case. No weapons, no disguises, no vehicle, just programming. But will his scheme succeed, or will it backfire spectacularly? Whispers circulate about a compromised malware blueprint known as Carbanak, an infamous banking virus whose creators fumbled and forfeited command. For Yakubets, this breach represents a golden chance. He experiments tirelessly over weeks. The original Carbanak code evolves into a fresh, lethal tool. Bit by bit, he constructs a universal passkey capable of unlocking any financial vault. He dubs it Carbanak, an unremarkable label destined for infamy. Yet christening a virus is straightforward. The true challenge is whether a cafe server can dismantle banks without facing capture. Initially, Yakubets deploys Carbanak experimentally against minor regional banking grids. In his dimly lit basement, glowing code illuminates his gaze. His debut incursion lasts mere moments, almost effortless. But hold on, if it's so straightforward, why aren't hordes attempting it? The outcomes surpass his wildest hopes. Carbanak evades all safeguards, creating a hidden entry into banking servers. The aspiring server grasps that he's unearthed treasure. Virtual treasure. To monetize this breakthrough fully, though, he requires allies and a strategy. He begins gathering a tight-knit group of trusted associates. Some frustrated tech prodigies from Eastern Europe tired of routine work. Others veteran intruders sourced from dubious online haunts. Armed with Carbanak as their trump card, they're set to pursue grander objectives. Yakubets, formerly pouring drinks for patrons, now concocts a blueprint for what sleuths would eventually term the ultimate cyber bank heist. And this is merely the beginning. One puzzle that haunted probe teams sleeplessly. How does a server lacking any network infiltrate over 100 banks undetected? The operation kicks off with a seemingly harmless message. Yakubets composes it with precision, a courteous introduction note paired with a credible CV, mimicking a legitimate employment bid. He focuses on the most vulnerable points, staff at the banks. Toward the end of 2013, such a dispatch lands in a European bank's branch manager's email. She spots it as a response to her posted opening. Everything appears routine. Upon clicking the enclosure, she unwittingly grants access to her institution's infrastructure. Carbanak activates on her computer, embedding itself without a sound. Over the following days, comparable missives reach institutions in Russia, Ukraine, and Germany. The team spreads their efforts broadly. But how long until a rogue mouse pointer exposes them? Numerous emails go unread or snagged by filters, yet a single oversight per mark suffices. Once a worker bites, Carbanak embeds deeply and initiates scouting. Now, Jakubets and his squad hold positions within various money centers. They advance cautiously, akin to intruders navigating a vast estate in the shadows. Carbanak operates covertly, without fanfare. It hides, observes, and logs activity. This virus boasts a remarkable feature: commandeering cameras and covertly capturing displays on compromised devices. For weeks, or even months, they monitor. The intruders witness it all, each keystroked credential, every fund shift, essentially peering virtually at their target's sides. They analyze staff routines for accessing transfer platforms, timing major dealings, and even replenishing ATMs with new bills. It's like virtually scouting a safe remotely, from afar. And the banking personnel remain oblivious to their unseen guests on the systems. As Jakubets gathers more data, his blueprint grows more daring. Armed with sufficient insights, he plans to pose as an unseen operative. Why force a lock when you can memorize the code and stroll inside? His group pinpoints key figures at each institution: executives handling remittances, specialists overseeing cash machine arrays, and data overseers managing ledgers. Carbanak stealthily migrates from the first compromised machine to these vital nodes, propagating across the grid. Every action is meticulously planned and disguised to imitate standard staff routines. Should a financial institution's tech team spot an odd login during the dead of night, they brush it off as a standard maintenance task, since Carbanak expertly conceals its operations. The cybercriminals bide their time patiently, often enduring months without triggering alerts or raising doubts. Each captured image arms them for the massive payout ahead. Suddenly, Jakubets detects an overlooked detail: a billion-dollar opportunity hidden in plain sight. While Jakubets masterminds this drawn-out infiltration, the real uncertainty isn't whether the assault will happen, but precisely when. All elements align perfectly. At 2:47 a.m., Moscow time, Jakubets enters 3 simple words: begin the harvest. Yet the puzzle remains: how does one pilfer $1 billion without ever approaching a physical safe? 2 months into the scheme, Carbanak has infiltrated over 100 financial entities in 30 nations. Jakubets' team now possesses what amounts to a universal access code for every targeted bank. The moment to extract the funds arrives in the most direct sense. The assaults kick off nearly at once in early 2014, striking institution after institution in a coordinated surge. Though far from the flashy, high-stakes robberies depicted in blockbuster movies, these thefts play out subtly via digital interfaces and surveillance feeds. At the first bank, an employee stares puzzled as her screen's pointer shifts independently, launching an unauthorized transfer of substantial funds. In a distant nation, records reveal an inexplicable $5 million outflow that baffles the entire finance team. Spanning the globe, cash dispensers eject bundles of bills on schedule without any card present. On urban sidewalks, low-level operatives recruited by Jakubets stroll up to the devices at the designated moments, snatch the cash, and melt into the darkness. In every instance, the institutions catch on to the anomaly only after hours or even days pass. Jakubets has directed the disorder with surgical accuracy. One strategy employed by the group involves boosting balance figures before draining the excess. Take a typical $1,000 account. It suddenly displays $10,000. The intruders swiftly route $9,000 to their hidden overseas holdings. Alternatively, they tap into the cornerstone of international finance, SWIFT. This network facilitates global money flows between banks. Armed with pilfered access details, they unleash a barrage of SWIFT directives, funneling millions to fictitious firms and proxy accounts in ways that defy easy tracking. By the point any warnings surface, the funds have already bounced through numerous overseas entities, rendering retrieval impossible. And if digital shifts fall short, the ATM withdrawal ploy serves as a reliable fallback. It's an assault on multiple fronts: bogus ledgers, bogus remittances, programmed cash grabs from machines. Carbanak counters every safeguard. For the affected institutions, it's a horror story developing at a torturous pace. Picture arriving at the office to discover discrepancies in the books, with video recordings capturing bills dispensing from ATMs like they're haunted. Investigators pore over the tapes repeatedly, but the mystery deepens. Executives gather in frantic meetings. The toll on people is profound, but the most shocking revelation is still to come. Tech specialists race to pinpoint the glitch in their infrastructure, at first hesitant to utter the term _quote, _0, _. As the trend becomes clear across multiple organizations and whispers spread to cybersecurity pros, the truth dawns. They're facing an assault from an unseen thief unlike any before. Overall, the gang's haul nears $1 billion. A robbery so bold that Kaspersky's analysts wryly suggested it could spawn its own film. The former struggling server, Maxim Yakubets, observes his secret accounts ballooning, essentially conjuring wealth from nothing. Still, many hit banks opt for secrecy, mortified to disclose the breach publicly. This works perfectly for Yakubets. Minimal exposure means extended operation time for the scam. But hefty thefts inevitably attract intense scrutiny. Authorities worldwide mobilize. Officers draw nearer. Yet Yakubets retains a final ace up his sleeve, one tied to the Russian state. Here's the surprise. What if the globe's top cyber fugitive was truly beyond reach? And what if he was fully aware? In early 2015, Detective Petrov tosses restlessly at night. His mother's pension has disappeared, erased by the breach. He turns it into a vendetta. When executives in Kiev reach out to cybersecurity outfit Kaspersky Lab, Petrov steps up for the investigation. Then, a group of officials in Kiev confronts the nightmare. We suspect malware has looted us. It's the lead sleuths have craved. Specialists from Kaspersky, Interpol, Europol, the FBI, an array of international bodies, assemble a collaborative unit to follow the Carbanak path. The pursuit starts in Ukraine, site of the initial ATM irregularities, before shifting to Moscow, chasing digital traces dropped by the culprits. Each snippet of rogue software and shady deal provides a vital hint. Investigators uncover that the perpetrators frequently linked up with the compromised bank systems through command and control servers scattered worldwide. Through meticulous tracing of these servers and close examination of malware timestamps, the team starts piecing together the criminal organization's setup, uncovering several key insights along the way. A crucial breakthrough emerges as experts sifting through server records spot an irregularity, a link from an IP that doesn't belong. Turns out, a poorly set up router in the crook's setup had exposed a hint of genuine location info. That one error proved sufficient to follow the trail straight to a high-end apartment right in Moscow's center. Might this be the boss's lair? The local cops can't just barge in. It's Russian territory, out of bounds for international warrants from the West. Still, the lead sends a jolt through the probe. Years drag on, 3 to be exact. The scent fades, yet one investigator turns it into a vendetta. His mother saw her life savings wiped out in the breach. Then a major development. Spanish forces raid a bright apartment in Alicante. 20 officers zero in on a single suspect. Come March 2018, they nab a groggy Ukrainian identified solely as Dennis K. Officials in Spain and Europol dub him the leader of the Carbanak syndicate, the very programmer behind its malicious software. For an instant, victory seems at hand, the notorious online thieves finally collared. But over in Moscow, Maxim Yakubets catches wind of the Alicante bust on the news and grins. Sure, Dennis K. was a whiz with the tech side of things, but Yakubets recognizes that the real orchestrator remains free, and he's staring right at his own reflection. The Spanish raid hits the Carbanak group hard, yet it doesn't spell the finish. Yakubets and his surviving partners pivot quickly. They wipe old drives, ditch servers, and go dark digitally. Armed with the collected proof, U.S. officials roll out charges and penalties. By December 2019, Yakubets faces indictment from afar, with a $5 million reward slapped on him, the biggest ever for a cyber outlaw. Even with his identity blown wide open and heat cranked up, he stays beyond grasp. How does he pull that off? It boils down to his current spot and his connections. Envision a lavish estate on Moscow's edge, flanked by marble pillars and a sleek Lamborghini in the drive. The car's plate says, quote, "1, the Russian word for thief." No prank. This is pure audacity. Welcome to Maxim Yakubets' pad. Post-Carbanak rampage, he's rolling like a budding tycoon, hitting elite nightlife spots, collecting rare animals, tying the knot with someone loaded. And the investigators' findings were mind-blowing. The ceremony wasn't merely lavish. The invitees included top Russian intel figures, FSB officers, cyber ops pros, right down to his wife's ex-Special Forces dad. All at once, the shield clicks into place. Yakubets isn't merely tucked away in Russia. He's turned into a valuable player. In December 2019, the FBI strikes back. Direct access? Impossible. But public shaming? Absolutely. They drop it all. Images, home details, even his routine. The $5 million payout activates. Media swarms his estate. Yakubets, though? He shares an Instagram clip from his spa pool, captioning it, "Appreciate the spotlight." Gone is the server scraping by on tips. Now he's a wealthy show-off. The arrangement's straightforward. Plunder overseas banks. Enjoy impunity in Russia. Yakubets signs on, shielded by agents, immune to justice. Then an unforeseen twist. January 2020. A Ukrainian entrepreneur touches down in Moscow, toting bank credentials valued at $40 million. Hours later, they're exploited. Funds evaporate, and the man turns up sedated in a hotel room. Video from security reveals a known figure, one of Yakubets' team. The Carbanak outfit hasn't bowed out. They've upgraded. He's still in the game, cracking systems, coming out on top. Banks keep certain secrets under wraps. Since Carbanak, 17 copycat strikes have hit, under guises like Gaznim, Drydex, Evil Corp, each slicker than the last. And sleuths keep spotting identical code markers, overlapping Moscow YPs, the same elusive ringleaders. Yakubets didn't stop at heists. He launched an academy. Fast forward to March 2023, a cybersecurity summit in London. A speaker unveils a real-time display of ongoing bank hacks. Crimson markers flare up across the map. These are live Carbanak-like incursions, he announces. Happening this very minute. The crowd hushes. From the rear, a finance bigwig messages his staff. Urgent huddle, stat. Cut to October 2024. Urgent bulletin. A chartered flight to Dubai diverts to Turkey in distress. On board, a passenger fits Yakubets' profile. Interpol mobilizes. Turkish authorities encircle the aircraft. But upon entry, the spot's vacant. Forged papers. An insider warned him he's perpetually ahead by a dozen moves. At this moment, wherever you are, Maxim Yakubets is likely chilling at his Moscow estate, perhaps scripting the successor to Carbanak, or grooming tomorrow's crop of virtual vault breakers. That former waiter, once scraping by to cover his rent, now commands a sprawling empire forged from pilfered fortunes in the billions. And what really torments bankers in the dead of night? They realize he's still lurking. They understand he's far from finished. They've completely overhauled their security setups, poured massive sums into fortifications, but they can't ignore the harsh reality. They're waging battles against threats from the past, while out there, some other underpaid server, some bitter programmer, some overlooked everyman is quietly crafting the next piece of malware, letting it disseminate and mutate. The real uncertainty isn't if another multi-billion-dollar breach is coming, it's if it's unfolding at this very moment.